Once there was a boy named Jimmy. Jimmy had a habit of paying more attention to other people than to himself. He often thought, this person does this, that person does that, and they need to change. When he saw someone he would think, they are so foolish, they don't understand anything. By focusing on others, Jimmy ignored himself. Time passed, and after finishing basic education, he was looking for a job. But despite trying hard, he couldn't find a good job. He decided to learn a skill to try his luck. Sometimes he went to a tailor's shop, sometimes to a barber to learn skills. One day, he started practicing cooking with a chef. But every time, he failed badly because no one could teach him up to his standards. Jimmy thought the tailor was too strict and was just wasting his time. The barber was too busy with his customers to teach him anything. The chef's habit was the worst. He added spices so quickly and smartly that Jimmy couldn't even see, and thus he felt his time was wasted there too. Finally, he came to learn a skill from a potter. The old potter was very wise and experienced. In just a few days, he understood Jimmy's habits. One day, the potter called Jimmy alone and said, "Today, tell me about yourself so we can become good teacher and student, understanding and caring for each other." Jimmy said, "You are the first person I truly respect. Until now, I have only met people who don't think about others' well-being." He then told the potter his whole story. The old potter listened thoughtfully. A few days later, the potter gathered all the students in a large room and announced that they would work on a special project, a big pot to be displayed in the town square. All the students were excited to start working on it, and Jimmy was extremely excited too. As they began working on the pot, Jimmy kept looking around at what the other students were doing instead of focusing on his work. He saw some making intricate designs, while others were shaping the pot beautifully. Jimmy started comparing his work to the other students. He thought, my pot should be so good that no one can match it. I am more talented than these people. He kept spying on what others were doing and lost focus on his work. The old potter saw that Jimmy was paying more attention to others than to his work. He came to Jimmy and said, "Jimmy, I have been watching you. You are not focusing on your work. Why?" "Sir, can't you see the person next to me is wasting clay, and Roger over there broke his pot and started over again?" Jimmy replied. "I asked you to make a pot, not to tell me what others are doing," said the potter. "My child, everyone has unique talents, so their ways of using them are different too. Focus on your work so you can improve your creation." Jimmy took a deep breath and nodded. He realized the potter was right. He didn't need to compare himself with others. He just needed to focus on his work and trust his abilities. And so, Jimmy focused on his own pot. When the pot was finally completed, it was more beautiful than anyone could have imagined. It had all of Jimmy's full attention in it. The old potter smiled at Jimmy and said, "Very good, you have learned the real secret of creation. Focus on your work and trust your abilities."